Welcome back, breadcrumbs, to our lovely podcast, Sandwiched, where me, as in meat,
and cheese,
review multiple movies, not all at once, separated by episodes, of films you guys should definitely watch or have watched, and we'll let you know what our honest opinion of them are. For this week's episode, we wrap up our Ryan Reynolds month. Almost called him Ryan Gosling. Wrong Ryan.
still handsome though.
Still very. But we wrap it up with Free Guy. Guy, a non-playable character, also known as an NPC, an algorithm, an artificial intelligent video game character, goes against a stolen code just to kiss the girl with sunglasses. While on the other side of the screen, the co-creators, Guy's mother and father essentially, which makes this story even weirder, are trying to get recognition and creative rights to their stolen code that is used by a man-child troll called Antoine. Boy, what a movie.
Oh yeah. Before we get into it though, I gotta give a shout out to the casting director, because this cast is phenomenal. Rona Kress. She did great. She did great stuff with this film.
She just did all the castings.
Yeah, she was in charge of casting direction, I think.
That's pretty cool.
Like that. I made sure to write it down because I was like, the cast in this movie is ridiculous and funny and
phenomenal.
Gets me every time.
As for the director Sean Levy, when I was trying to look up things that he's directed, I got confused because I didn't realize he's also acted in things. So it was pulling up all the movies he's acted in, and I thought, whoa, he directed all these movies? No, he did not. But what he is best known for is Stranger Things, Real Steel, the Pink Panther movies, the Cheaper by the Dozen movies, and the Night at the Museum franchise movies, as well as this movie, of course. But those are some good movies. I would have to say, Stranger Things is a series. That's a good series. And I love the Pink Panther movies with a burning passion. So, Sean Levy, what a guy. That's going to be like my catchphrase. Like, if they made dolls
what
of us.
What a guy?
Yeah, it'd just be like a slab of bologna. And if you poked it, it would say, what a guy.
Oh.
Yeah. What would yours say if you had a cheese figurine? Oh.
I'm tasty.
A catchphrase like on the podcast, you know? What do you say a lot on the pod?
I don't know. I'd have to pay more attention, I guess.
Yeah. If anyone wanted to chime in the comments or whatnot, what would our action figure names, or not names, phrases be? Would we have multiple? Would it just be non-list babbling? Because I feel like that's also...
One of mine's got to be there's a snake in my boot.
It'd be really funny if it was boot in my snake.
There's a boot in my snake?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a possibility.
There could be a boot in my snake. Like a little boot. Maybe there's a boot.
If your snake is a plastic eater.
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
Heck
and if
yeah.
it's specifically eating a boot, shout out to you too.
And then there's a tiny snake in that boot. Anyway, what are some actors that you recognize?
Oh, where to begin?
Where?
Channing Tatum.
That's where you began?
Well, yeah, he was in the opening scene before we even saw Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. That's fair.
Although he was more like video gameized.
Yeah, you didn't really see his face till later.
Yeah, but you could like tell it was him.
See, with some of them I tried to tell. Like, I looked up the actors beforehand and could, like, definitely say my main ones. And some of them I wrote as I went. But I had to... It was Channing Tatum and Hugh Jackman I had to, like, listen for. And I could only hear Hugh Jackman. But Channing Tatum, I feel like he has one of those voices that if I didn't...
Hugh Jackman was in this movie?
Yeah! Oh my goodness! But Channing Tatum's voice is not that it's monotone or anything, but it's such a nice voice that maybe it just gets lost between the pixels. Get it? Because he was a character?
I guess. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. I mean, he wasn't speaking in the scene that he saw him in.
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds was giving the introduction, wasn't he?
But the guy, Channing Tatum's character, Benjamin Buttons, was still like, he spoke because he was asking that girl questions. Was that not the opening scene? That's when I remembered first seeing him.
That wasn't the guy, though.
That is the guy.
That wasn't Channing Tatum.
Yes, it was.
Talking to her?
Yeah, that
No.
has the. Yeah, that has
No.
the. Yes, because it's his house.
Yeah, but he said, I found the location of this
Oh,
drive thing that this guy has.
that makes sense. Well, then I don't remember him in the opening scene at all.
It was when they were talking about the world of Free City.
Oh,
You just, like, see his, like, quote-unquote avatar.
well.
And it's kind of blurry. But I was like, that's Channing Tatum.
Well, you see him later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I recognized his overall proportions to... Yeah, I know. I was doing a thing with my hands because I was just trying to think of the word.
I love that. I that's interpretive art right there.
Anyway,
Sorry.
I recognized the fact that it was him.
Yeah, good job. My top one, besides Ryan Reynolds, obviously. Well, I'd just like to say, like, this movie is awesome for Ryan Reynolds in general. So, like, comedy is his best suit, but it's even better when it has a touch of romance, like a little rose tucked into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But my top person I recognized was one of my favorite actors, who's not traditionally an actor. He actually is more traditionally a gamer. Jacksepticeye or Sean McLaughlin.
I wrote him down too.
Yeah.
I wrote down a bunch of other gamers as well.
I didn't care about the other ones.
Well, Ninja was in it.
I never cared about Ninja.
Ninja, the Fortnite guy.
Never cared about Ninja. Never. Boy, Jacksepticeye, he acts in a lot of video games too. Like, he does cameos and whatnot, and I love it. I love that for him. But he is one of my top 5 YouTubers.
That's fair.
Yeah. What's another one you saw?
I don't know if you mentioned Ryan Reynolds, but he's in this movie.
I just...
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My brain was kind of... I don't know. I'm kind of out of it.
I hope Ryan Reynolds is
Alex
in it.
Trebek was in this movie.
Yeah, I put that one down. I couldn't remember his first name, but boy.
Who is Guy? Who is Guy indeed? I was like, dude, this is like one of the last things that he was probably a part of when he was on the earth.
Oh yeah, probably.
And I was like, dude, that's a sick cameo. Can
Yeah,
you imagine having Alex Trebek in your movie? He's not in very many films, I don't think.
No, I don't think at all. Maybe? I don't know. He's probably just
He's in this movie.
That's true. He's just a TV star. But now, movie star. Yeah, speaking about Hugh Jackman, he was in this movie. How could you not tell? Oh, wait. The guy who talked to the girl who found the location, that was Hugh Jackman.
That's how I couldn't tell.
Yeah,
His voice was all distorted.
masked player in the alley, all black. Well, you could totally hear his voice.
That's like saying that Ed Sheeran was in the last Star Wars movie, which I found out he was. Do you want to know who he played?
Who?
He played a stormtrooper. That's like the same exact thing. Couldn't tell at all it was Hugh Jackman. Yeah, but you couldn't even tell at all it was Hugh Jackman.
I could by his voice.
No, you couldn't.
Yes, I said Hugh Jackman. No,
you were like, that's Hugh Jackman.
No, towards the end, when he was like, they cut it, he's like, oh, well, why do you want to do this? And blah, 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 blah. And she's like, no questions. It wasn't that distorted. It was not. But anyway, this guy's best known for Wolverine. He's in Real Steel. He's in The Greatest Showman. He's in Movie 43. He's in Chappie. He's done it all. Wow, wow, wow.
The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, the greatest.
You didn't say that, though.
I
Did
roll
you?
the tape. Best known for Wolverine, Real Steel, The
You don't need
Greatest
to repeat
Showman,
it.
Movie 43, and Chappie. He's done it all. See?
I blocked that one out of my brain, I guess,
Oh,
when you were saying it.
Because I was yelling.
I don't know if that was it.
It's another one for you.
I also recognize Pokimane, another gamer.
Oh, no.
She's a gamer girl.
Oh, wait. I was looking at her and thought I knew her from something, but I couldn't like, I didn't look hard enough, but I remember reading an article that talked about the gamers that were on it, and she wasn't on there because I knew who it was referencing. So maybe my article just doesn't like her. I don't know.
Or your article was written by somebody who doesn't know how to read.
Probably.
Because her name was at the bottom of her stream.
Yeah, that's true. But I think I've seen her when I would watch these this group that would play Among Us, and it would be like Corpse Husband, Sukuno, Shovel would play, and like 3 other girls that I know would play. I believe she was one of them, but she wasn't one of the main ones I continued to watch after them. But she just looks so familiar. But yeah, I would shout out to her. I also put Dwayne Johnson. He was Robert number 2.
Oh. Wow, what a cameo.
It's another one for you.
You probably put Chris Evans down as well.
I didn't really care for
Never mind.
it.
Chris Evans was in it. He got offended by the Captain America shield. That was pretty funny. Since you don't care about him, I'm going to talk about Taika Waititi, who you probably also don't care about. He was Antoine, and people might not really know him for acting because he's more of a director. He directed Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder, and he was the rock guy in those movies. I don't remember the character's name. I'm sorry.
I haven't seen either of those 2 movies yet, so I wouldn't know. But that's pretty cool.
I just remember the rock guy's sidekick. It's a bug guy named Meek. What? That's all I remember.
It's really funny.
I have to rewatch it.
That's really cool though. Like, for the character, I like for a villain character, I really like Antoine, but like the guy, he seemed pretty cool, and I feel like I've seen him from something else. But if he doesn't really act, then I don't know what I would have seen him from. Maybe there's just pictures of directors when the Thor movies were coming out. But man, I think he was pretty perfect for the role, to be honest. He
definitely nailed the bizarre, random garbage words.
Yeah. I didn't put it down for my fun facts, but like there was something that said that he was just going on, like it was more ad-lib. And what ad-lib is in theater is that you're adding lip, but it's called ad-lib. And you're just saying random things that you think, you're like improvising what your character would say. Or like the type of thing. So it was kind of a bunch of that. Like there was not really much direction, which was kind of good, I guess, since he was a director himself. You know, he knows how to do the creative freedom. So that's pretty cool. I
kind of like the idea of that, though, because if you think about it more philosophically, the fact that he's like this brainiac CEO who's made millions, probably millions, I want to say billions of dollars off Free City content garbage.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably doing just fine for himself, and I think it's kind of cool that as a CEO he acts ridiculous in front of his employees, because I mean he has the power to be the smartest man in the room while also for saying stuff for like for shizzle or whatever.
Yeah, or like when he like verbally assaults his employees, like you're so stupid or something like that. Like he said that. Like why would I think that? Or remember when one of the employees was like, "Oh, I thought you were at blah blah blah." He's like, "Does it look like I'm at blah blah blah?" Like of course the employee was like, "Oh, why are you back so soon?" Basically, and he's like, "Dummy, I'm here." And it's just like, dang, that's how you know that's like rich man mama's boy kind of attitude, you know? I also put down Joey Keery, who played Keys. He's from Stranger Things.
I know. He's my favorite character in Stranger Things.
But
you wouldn't know that because you haven't watched the show.
I've seen season 1, like 7 years ago.
That doesn't count. If you've seen it a million years ago and can't remember it, then it doesn't count.
Well, I could recognize his character.
Yeah, you saw him and you're like, oh, I know him from Stranger Things, and that was it.
Yeah, that
You
was
don't remember anything he does in the show.
He's the older brother.
Oh, boy.
Is he not?
No, not at all.
Okay, it's on my list to watch. There's just a lot of other things. Like, I think Riverdale's above my wanting to watch Stranger Things. So. Anyway, my last one was Jodie Comer, who played Millie. Like, I don't really know this actress from anything, really. But I just put her down because I'm super excited, because I love this actress, and I'm really excited for the threequel to come out 28 years later, and she's in that one. So that's
What does that mean? Is that like a film?
Yeah, like 28. It's you. Oh, you
Apparently she was also in
you
Star
wouldn't
Wars.
like it. You wouldn't like this movie franchise, but there's 28 days later, 28 weeks later, and now it's 28 years later. And
why wouldn't I like it?
it's a zombie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Zombies are ridiculous.
They're awesome. So, fun fact there, speaking about that, obviously there are many Easter eggs in this movie, especially to Grand Theft Auto, Marvel, like Captain American Shield, like you said earlier. But did you know that Chris Evans' cameo, like I said, was not originally intended? Not at all. Apparently, Evans was shooting Defending Jacob in the same town where Free Guy, the Free Guy production was taking place. And Ryan Reynolds simply just sent Evans a text asking him to be involved. And as busy as this movie star was, he agreed to do it as long as he was in and out in like 10 minutes.
So he literally just said his line and I was like, bye guys.
Yeah, like literally all he had to do was like
One take.
looking at his phone and like, oh, like, are you serious? And yeah, like literally, like how simple that was. And I bet he did it for free.
Guy.
Ah.
I was waiting for you to say it, but then you never did.
I wasn't thinking about it. And then this one is so, I'm like, I would not be surprised, but Ryan Reynolds chose the soundtrack for the movie, and like that totally this totally tracks, get it? Because this soundtrack sounds like a lot of his other movie. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, his other movies have similar vibes or similar songs. So, like, of course, why wouldn't some of his well-known soundtrack hits make it on here? And then, did you know this whole character of Guy was not supposed to be how it was? He was apparently supposed to be more diabolical. Like the people who play Free City. You know how they're like, I'm gonna rob this, I'm gonna do this.
Apparently, he was supposed to be evil.
Yeah, apparently, like, I guess a bad character.
I think his dynamic worked better.
Yeah, like, why would it... Of course, a cheery NPC makes way more sense, because like, NPCs like that get pushed around more, and that's the whole point, to, like, kind of break him out of his shell. Because if you're evil, you have an evil agenda.
Plus, he couldn't be friends with a security guard if he was evil.
Exactly, and that was a good dynamic. But, like, speaking with a Hollywood Reporter, the original writer, Matt Lieberman, mentioned that along with choosing most of the soundtracks, Reynolds made a massive change to the character of Guy. So in the original screenplay, he was cynical in the beginning, but in the movie, being hopelessly optimistic was just the core of his character. So they kept that whole thing as his whole character, which is great. And I love that Reynolds just has the mad respect by everyone that he says, I think this should actually be this way. And the director and whatnot are like, okay. Instead of being like, what are you doing, kid? You know? He's done that. He did that with The Voices. He did that with this movie. I feel like maybe every movie, I don't remember the other movies we talked about at the top of my head, but he, like, said, like, hey, we should do this instead, and they followed it. So,
I mean, they probably thought about it beforehand. So, I mean, if you're a director or a producer or whatever, it's still your project.
Yeah, but, like,
you gotta I would feel like it would be ridiculous to assume that all of a sudden they're just like, sure, let's do what Ryan Reynolds wants.
Well, yeah, but, like, if you think they had the character be all diabolical, that means that, like...
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that they were like, okay, let's see how it would play out if he wasn't.
Yeah, But if it was originally meant to be this, and maybe it was in just the script read, that they were, like, Reynolds might have been like, I don't think this is fitting, so then it was already in drafting phase anyway, or maybe it was when he auditioned, but I highly doubted he auditioned. I'm pretty sure he was sought out, you know?
I have
don't
no
know.
idea.
I'm not part of that world. And then last fun fact, did you know the director almost turned down the script? Don't know why.
Probably for that reason.
Maybe.
Because it made him depressed.
Oh, that's not what I
I
said.
don't
I
know.
said diabolical.
No, it made the director depressed, so he was like, I'm not doing it.
I have no idea. Tell me some of your favorite parts.
I think it's funny that only the people who wear sunglasses are allowed to wear sunglasses.
Yeah, that's such a cool concept. I thought they were all the same at first, but then I realized they were different.
Like different styles?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Nothing.
Oh, you looked relieved that, like, I was unpacking, like, some lore you didn't know. Maybe that's just my anxiety. Yeah, I like the sunglasses. I thought it was funny, like, when Guy takes them off of that one person who was doing the bank heist, and then it disconnected the person. I thought that was, like, for the interdimensionalness of the world, like, would that make sense? Would that not make sense? I don't know, because I doubt you can just take them off. Normally, like, as a game player.
Well, I mean, where you need it, like the heads-up display that they're using, that's what the sunglasses are. So when you take it off, it just disables that, so the player wouldn't be able to take off the sunglasses. Because it just wouldn't make any sense to play the game without any sort of heads-up display, because if you don't know what you're holding or anything like that, then there's nothing you can really do.
Unless if
it
was
would
like...
be more like their original design where they just watch the world happen.
Oh, which was the inner code. That makes it make sense to me.
Or they were just like deciding to play on a ridiculously hard level.
Or it was like
which
creative
doesn't make
mode.
sense.
You know, maybe it was like creative mode, like Minecraft. You know, you just gotta walk through, like you said, an experience. No, I'm gonna.
I don't like creative mode, so.
Well, me neither. But this isn't about you liking it. This is about like maybe that's what like taking the heads off display is. It's just like what I used to do when I played Grand Theft Auto is I would practice my impulse control and just drive like a normal person, and I had the most fun driving around and following traffic.
Sheesh.
Thinking that it would help me when I would drive on my own. And which is really funny because normally I have the most twisted mind and make the most like cynical and diabolical thoughts and jokes. But I'm over here in Grand Theft Auto like, I'm gonna drive the speed limit, I'm going to use my blinker, I'm gonna stop at the stoplight, I'm gonna make sure I'm far away from the car.
And here I am driving on the sidewalk going, you called me what?
I actually, because of this game and because of seeing someone play it for the first time, I'm over here like, I really want to actually play it because I never played it. I never owned it. I was at...
Free City?
No, Grand Theft Auto. I never owned it, and when I did play it that one time, or a couple times, it was because I was staying at my sister's and her roommate had it. So I don't know.
Well, you have a PlayStation.
I do, and I never play any of my PlayStation games, but I really want to. I've only played until Dawn, and I still have that $200 game sitting unopened in my cupboard. I need to play it.
How about you? What'd you like?
I like movies that begin with monologues, and this one definitely began with that monologue. I just loved it so much.
It was a really nice setup.
And I kind of liked how this movie was formatted in the same way. I don't know how to explain it, but it was formatted like how the Barbie movie's formatted. You know what I mean?
No.
We talked about this the other day, where that sense of agency is lost, like with the Truman Show.
Oh, yeah,
and the Barbie movies like that, because like you don't know your reality, so you're losing that sense of agency. And I think like I like movies that are like that, because it's kind of dystopian-ish, but without being in one. Like, it's in the horizons.
I love that Going back to the NPC thing, I just thought it was funny that everybody was just super chill with getting robbed, set on fire, or shot, or whatever. It was like, it's just what happens. Like the guy who is holding up his arms the entire movie.
Stuck. Or like the security guard, he's like, he shrugs and he just
undoes
his belt and drops it. It's like, oh no. I thought it was funny when he tries to order a different coffee. And, like, the lady starts freaking out and everyone's over there, like, giving him the death stare. Like, I thought they were going to hunt him down and kill him for some odd reason.
Well, I mean, the tank just, like, turns its turret towards him.
Yeah.
So it's like, whoa.
Yeah. It's like, what? Something different? Shun the non-believer. But, like, also, speaking about the coffee, do you think the phrases he says after he gets his normal coffee is like improvised, or do you think that was scripted? I think it's improvised.
I'd be surprised if a writer was like, this is what coffee tastes like.
Yeah. Well, because, those phrases reminded me of what his character as Deadpool says. So I think it's like legitly just Ryan being Ryan.
To go off of the coffee thing,
yeah.
And then I'm also going to throw in another one here because the coffee thing is just kind of a funny mention. They don't eat any sort of food in this world. Every single garbage can just is full of coffee cups.
I don't think I noticed that.
I noticed that. Like, I've seen this movie at least 5 or 6 times. Nice. And watching it this time, I was like, there's a bunch of coffee cups in that can. And then I saw more garbage cans, and I was like, there's just a bunch of coffee cups. Everybody just drinks coffee. Nobody eats anything.
Well, Guy ate cereal. Where does he get the milk in the cereal?
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's not really any indication.
There's bugs in this game. Let's tear it down.
Maybe that's part of the AI junk. He just is like, cereal, milk. Can't make a cappuccino, but I can pour milk on my cereal.
Right, yeah.
But I thought that was awesome. And then, like, to kind of go along with the coffee scene and all this other stuff, I love that every single time he sees Officer Johnny, he goes, Officer Johnny!
Yeah! Oh my god.
No matter what's happening. Like, when he gets hit by the car and he's just laying there, and then the officer walks by, he's like, Officer Johnny!
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I remember watching that part and being like, why? Like, why? The last part that I liked... Oh, there's 2 more parts I liked. One small thing was, like, at the end with the granny, the dude, and the cats all, like, together, and the cats are in the basket. I thought that was just funny. Like, granny, and then the big buff dude guy, and the basket of cats. Yeah. Like, that was just, like, funny. And then also when Millie took off her voice filter, I thought it was really funny when Guy was like, where'd your accent go? And he's like, blah, 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 blah. This is more me. And he's like, yeah. Like, really missed
like
the accent.
Like a Stranger Danger kind of thing?
Well, no, I think he preferred her with an accent. He's like, oh, yeah. Like, I still like you with your accent.
Can you imagine, like, hearing it for a month and then all of a sudden someone's like, this is how I really sound. And
right.
He's like, what?
I mean, I would agree, though, because I can't remember if it was Australian, right?
I think so.
Yeah, Australian and British accents, to me, are the best.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say don't say sound the same.
No, not at all. But they're both awesome. Like, I went camping the other week or whatever, and one of the campers needed to borrow our sledgehammer. And they had an Australian accent, and I was like, yeah, of course you can borrow our sledgehammer. Borrow it any time, because it was just, like, melting.
Did they tell you about the dingoes?
No, they did not tell me about the dingoes. I don't know if that was an Australian accent or not. But yeah, those are my favorite parts.
Wow, I wrote down a lot, so I'm just going to kind of go through them.
Yeah.
So I love that in one of the moments where the bank was robbed, they shot the glass. And he was, like, climbing over the desk, and he just goes, ow, as he's, like, climbing through glass. I thought that was hilarious. The ordering the cappuccino thing. I love that, like, he had one polo shirt in his closet, and that was the one that he was like, this is the day it's going to be different. And then he, like, goes all the way over to the one polo. His ATM code was 1111. That was pretty funny. And then the dude who's, like, running around on fire, he extinguishes him. And then the dude gets shot right after that. I love that some of the quotes that I wrote down. I wrote when they went into the game because they thought that he was just a bug because he was kind of doing his own thing, and because this was like right after he accidentally shot the guy in the bank, and he's like, it's okay, he's just sleeping, he's really tired.
Yeah.
The character that Joe plays and his cohort go into the game to try and fix the situation, and they like tell him to like empty his pockets and then take off his skin, and then he says, I want to comply, but I find the order of those threads very confusing. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
One of the things that was also said was when they were kind of gathering together at the end to like go and save their world. Or no, that wasn't it. I don't remember when this was happening. It was one of the scenes where he was talking to the other NPCs, and it was like, you know how I feel about life.
Mm-hmm.
He said, we don't have to be spectators for our own lives. I was like, oh, that hit real deep. And then I love, I didn't write this down, but I love when they go in to, so before that, I'm going to say this.
Mm-hmm.
I love it when he's talking to Buddy at the end, and he's like, oh, I just found out that my world isn't real. And then, what do you do about that? And then Buddy just goes, so what? So what the world isn't real? This moment is real. And what's more, what does he say? I wrote it down.
Yeah.
What's more real than someone trying to help out someone they love?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's so cool.
That one got me too. I was like, thanks, buddy.
Buddy's the best.
He's a buddy, man.
And then I also wrote down, life doesn't have to be something that just happens to us. And I was like, oh. Coming from an NPC that's like sort of pseudo AI, that's really cool. Trolls exist. That was funny.
Yeah.
I also love it when they're in Channing Tatum's garage lair, and he's like gonna get the thing for him, and he's like, okay, you guys gotta kill me. And then he's like grabs the gun that Buddy's holding and is like, just do it, ah.
Yeah. Oh man, I almost forgot about that too, because I like the whole thing when it's like you figure out who plays that character and he's like, Mom!
Oh yeah.
Like that whole interaction, it's like, Mom, they got they found her, I don't know, in the very end it was like, Mom, they got the thingy.
Oh yeah, when he's telling his mom what's happening.
Yeah, it's like,
of
course.
To kind of go along with that, I love it when he's showing the video clip to, I forgot her name already.
Millie?
Yeah. When he's showing the video clip to Millie, and the dude is just like on the flagpole doing that dance.
Yeah, they don't care.
And he just like turns to her and he's like, he's very expressive with his body.
Yeah. Jeez.
I thought that was hilarious. I thought it was funny that like he's level 106 or whatever, and they go into his garage and she's like, wow, you got all this stuff? I noticed that he had a catapult and a horse and buggy. And I was like, he has all these fancy cars and there's a horse and buggy and a catapult just chilling.
He wanted to experience them all, you know?
And my final favorite part that I want to talk about, just because it kind of blew me away. When you first watched this movie, did you expect it to be a love story?
I don't think when I first watched it, no.
When I got to the end and they were like, and he was just like, someone wrote my code. I'm a love letter to you. I was like, what? It was a rom-com the whole time?
Yeah. I think I even forgot that partway through rewatching it. I think I was like, oh man, Millie and Guy are gonna be together. I'm like, wait, no, that would be weird. And then it was towards the end, I'm like, oh, it's got a different ship. And I feel like that probably made it better, because if the movie just ended without the rom-com part, I feel like maybe it wouldn't have landed as well, you know? Like, if they just went through all that and then just had an area where they could do whatever they want, I don't think there would have been enough substance.
I think Buddy and Guy's reunion would have made up for it, though.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Maybe the right dinosaurs together.
They do.
Yeah. Speaking about that, who are your favorite characters?
Before we go on,
Oh, my bad.
I have a fun fact.
Oh, you do now,
Yeah.
do you? Okay.
You know, dude,
Yeah.
he is CGI. Not entirely. So the thing is that they used CGI to put Ryan Reynolds' face on a professional wrestler.
Oh, okay. You know, I had been thinking, like... So, okay, that's really weird, because I was thinking
And
about
they
it.
actually got really tight while he was working on the movie.
No. What I was thinking, it
What?
was...
What do you mean no?
I didn't think you get... Do you mean tight as in, like...
Like Friends.
Oh, no. I was thinking...
Whoa!
No, that's not what I was meaning at all. I thought you meant, like, a different way of, like, being, like, jacked up, you know?
Yeah, I know. Whoa!
No. What I was thinking the whole time is, like, okay, that's gotta be, like, a jacked up doppelganger, you know? Because the face doesn't look right. Obviously, it's not his body. But, like, I felt like the teeth were wrong.
He definitely doesn't have that body.
Obviously. But, I was like, nah, man, it can't be Ryan. But is the hair of the original guy? And they just, like, literally just did the face circle?
I have no idea. I just know that
that's
his head was put on the dude's body.
Okay.
And then going off of that, like, I love it when he's like powering up his pecs, and then nerd dude who's also Channing Tatum just was like eating a red vine going, oh, that's a death blow.
Yeah. His, like, towards the end, having that little bit in there, I was like, man, I wouldn't think the movie would just throw these, like, really funny new things in at all, but then here they come.
It's
love
like,
that.
hooray, we're running for the bridge.
Okay, now who's your favorite character?
My favorite character
Yeah.
was obviously Keys.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I just love that guy. First off, amazing character.
Mm-hmm.
Second off, amazing actor.
Mm-hmm.
Third off, brilliant dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he basically hacks into his own company, hacks into their own, the company in order to help Millie get the game.
That's true. That's some dedication and
And I
some
was like,
love
dude,
right
that's
there.
sick.
Mm-hmm.
And he's from Stranger Things. And he's like, he plays my favorite character in Stranger Things.
Right, the older brother.
No. Not at all.
Does he work at the movie theater? Concession stand?
Yes.
See, I knew him.
Yeah, but you haven't seen the season that he works at the concession stand in.
Oh.
Sheesh.
My top favorite character was Guy.
I do like Guy. I wrote down Guy as well.
Mm-hmm. It was what number ranking was he for you?
Well, I wrote him down first because he was the first one I thought of.
Oh.
But
wow.
Keys is my favorite character.
Okay, well, give me your top three. Like, in
Keys,
order.
Buddy, and Guy.
That is so funny. I put Guy, Millie, and Buddy. Like, we got 2 out of 3.
Well, yeah, because Buddy is awesome.
Yeah, Buddy's just a buddy.
Yeah, he's great.
Man, he's like good moral support. Like, I forget what it's called in books, but it's like when you need someone to lean on, and like it's supposed to help like recharge someone. It's just there, man.
And he's a really cute character.
Yeah, he's
like when dude shows up, he's like, he's you, but he's like so much better. And he like starts feeling him up.
I thought that was so funny. I was like, oh, okay.
And then he punches him, and he's like, ow, he hits really hard.
Yeah, I think Buddy's just so cuddly.
He's
like,
so good.
Yeah, I love it, and great actor for the optimism.
And I love now thinking about it, the kind of comparison to how certain people probably are in real life. Like, he's the type who doesn't really want to try a new thing. Because when Guy offers him the sunglasses, it's like, this will change your world. He just is like, dude, I'm not one of those guys. But then eventually he's like, starts hearing about Guy's adventures, and and is like, dude, you're barely at the bank anymore, and I miss you, and he's just like, well, let's talk, and then they talk, and then they're just like the best people, they're like the bestest of friends, and I'm like, oh, what a great relationship.
It shows that, like, you know, it's not just women who have talks, you know, like, guys need to get more comfortable, and I know, like, society makes it where they don't feel like they can, but, like, have your bro talks, man. If your feelings are hurt, talk it out. Be like Buddy and Guy. Be a buddy, be a guy, you know? And even in the end, Buddy didn't put the glasses on, right?
No.
I don't think, yeah, because he's like, no, I'm not going to either, like, at the very end. And I thought that was really empowering, too. I think it's the thing that you're probably talking about. Is like, yeah, the result is not eventually following suit with the greatest purpose, you know? Sometimes you're just happy where you are, and that's fine. I like to think of that as, like, with activists, you know? Like, they're obviously doing their, like, they're going on their path, they're doing things that I may agree or disagree with, but even if I, like, soulfully agree with activists and whatnot, I'm not gonna join suit, because that's not my strong suit, that's not where I want to be, and I'm happy where I am now, you know? So I think it was really empowering that he was just like, no, I don't need him. I'm good where I'm at. I'm Buddy. This is my ground. But you go, Guy.
Yeah, lots of love for Buddy.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you have any other favorite characters?
I would have written down Millie, but I just loved those three so much that I just kind of put Millie to the side.
That's fair. I originally only had Guy and Buddy, and I had them as like a duo. Like, I like them together, but then I realized, no, I like Buddy, and without him being with Guy. Like, Buddy just stands alone as being a buddy. I almost said a guy.
He's awesome. He's a great guy.
He's a great buddy.
Okay, chill.
Okay, let's get into the nitty gritty. What are the things you didn't like?
I honestly wrote down only one thing. Because
Yeah,
I love this movie so much that I was just like...
It was hard.
It was tough. I got to the end and I was like, man, I gotta come up with something that I didn't really like. The only thing that I didn't like was that Keyes worked for Antoine so long without doing anything.
You know, that's fair, yeah, because it's like, what are you doing?
Because it sounds like right after they sold the game to him, that's when he started working for him.
Yeah, and I can't remember why they sold the game to him. Oh, because he was going to produce it or whatnot, right? And then he never did.
Yeah, he was in charge of producing it, and then...
they didn't.
He went to run the numbers, and we're like, it's not going to play out the way you think.
Didn't Millie also work for him, and then she just, like, went different ways? Isn't that what happened? I thought she also worked for him.
No, they made the game.
Yeah.
And his company was going to sponsor the game, but then he ran the numbers with, I'm sure, like a certain...
Yeah, with a whatever.
Certain group that was just like, this game sucks. And then he was like, how about I buy it from you, turn it into my own thing, and then we leave it at that.
Yeah.
But then, and they were just like, well, because it was their first game, and they didn't really think about all that stuff at first, because they were so excited about creating a world and stuff, that they didn't think about all the numbers and stuff. They were like, well, he's been doing games, and so they sold it to him.
Yeah.
And then Millie regretted it, because she knew that their technology was used to create Free City. Yeah. And
unfortunate.
And of course, Keyes was working for him, so he was like, dude, we have no proof. Yeah. Even if I wanted to get this guy, because he just like stole everything that was ours, basically, for probably no more than $500,000, we kind of got screwed here. Yeah. Because we had something cool going.
And even, I guess this is another funny part on top of that, but like towards the end, when they did get the proof, and Millie was like trying not to get him to destroy the server, she's like, you can have everything, I just want our game, you can have the money. And for Antoine to believe that, like, bro, because she has that and everyone has seen like what's been happening, it's not just gonna go away, and you're gonna get sued for one. not just for like stealing a game, but because of all the crap you just pulled. You destroyed property. Even if it's your own company, you're still destroying property, and then you're responsible for putting a lot of people out of jobs because now you don't have these servers.
He definitely went straight to prison.
Yeah. Attempted AI slaughter.
I just barely thought about it though.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe Antoine did improve it in a way.
The game?
Yeah. Because when they were talking, it almost seemed like their game was going to be like these mythical creatures that just kind of roam and do their own thing. But because he added NPCs to their, like, just, not NPCs as in, like, the monsters or whatever, but, like, legitimate people.
Human.
Perhaps that was the trigger that enabled the AI technology to move farther than they anticipated. Because Keyes said that when he was, like, researching it, he was like, his data is far greater than what we ever anticipated.
That's a good thought.
Because, like, he combined real people, which have real emotions and all this stuff, to a world that was built for AI technology.
I mean, I bet they would have eventually gotten there after a few trial runs. But, you know, I think it still worked out great.
Oh, yeah.
The part I didn't like was that they didn't really make it clear to me, like, when Guy changed sunglasses. Like, I didn't know he was stealing all those players' sunglasses. I thought he only had one pair. But then I realized, like, it went from weird frames to, like, cool sunglasses with a single wire, and then to thicker feminine glasses, and then, like, black thicker frames, which seems to be what he landed on. But I also think that actually might be Ryan Reynolds' normal pair of sunglasses/glasses. Is I think he normally has these square. So I bet he just ended up wearing his glasses. But, like, I didn't know if he just took the ones off of each person he addresses or takes over. And, like, I don't know. It was really weird and they didn't make it clear. The only time I noticed it was, like, 5 of them in where he kept taking them off. Or, like, he took it off and put it in a bag or something. I was like, that wasn't clear earlier. Like, what is going on? But that's the only part I didn't like.
Well, if you think about it right, he wakes up every single day in the exact same spot. So he wouldn't have the sunglasses in the morning.
Oh, so
he'd
he
have
collects
to get
them for
more.
that.
Which is interesting because he also has his collection of stuff that he gets by getting up to level 100.
Yeah.
Like, even after the reset on the servers, he still had all the random junk that he collected.
True. Do you think that when they
maybe
die...
just over time he was collecting sunglasses and then completely forgot about the fact that he was?
No, I just was thinking, like, when they die, do you think he goes back to level 1?
No. I don't think that would be a fair system.
Yeah, because I know, like, people lost their money.
It would take him forever to get to level 100.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, he would have just done a bunch of, like, crazy stuff, but I guess that's fair. Probably lost inventory, but... Yeah, and that's the only thing I would change to, I guess, is making that more clear for me, because... I don't know, like, maybe the first time he tried to level up and he died and lost his sunglasses, be like, oh, my sunglasses! Or something, because, like, I just couldn't understand it.
That's fair.
Yeah. What would you like to change?
It didn't bother me watching it this time, but I remember earlier when I was watching this movie, I was like, I think maybe Antoine's character came off as a little bit too stupid for what he does and what he did, just in general, because he's really a brilliant dude.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, his whole demeanor is like, I'm ridiculous, and then they say just random garbage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude, he's way smarter than this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why they make him like seem like a dumb CEO when in actuality he's like, I understand how this junk works.
Well, that's what I was thinking and talking about, like, the rich, prudy mama's boy, is that, like, you can be kind of smart, but if you're, like, don't care about people and you're being prudy like that, I can see them talking, like how Antoine was talking. I bet he was having, like, he literally, there's people who prefer to talk that way and can be pretty smart.
That's fair.
It's just not being professional, and that's not a smart thing to do, but if he's the CEO, I guess he's so power hung, he's like, I can say and do whatever I want. This is my company. I got up the ladder here. You know, I probably didn't have to work as hard, it sounds like, you know, because that's what gets you to be more professional, is if you want to work up, you have to be professional, polite, respectful, and it breaks out of you. But for him, it hasn't, because I think he had that, what's it called? Nepotism? He's a Nepo baby?
You're asking the wrong dude.
Yeah, I guess I am. I just learned about it, like, last month, so I'm trying to use my vocabulary.
And I think for a dude who's been in charge of Free City for a good number of years, he ought to know where the servers are. I was honestly impressed that he needed the tech guy to go down with him to be like, where's the servers?
Maybe he didn't have the key? Or did he say where are the servers? Or
where are the Free City servers? So, because he probably had other games with other servers that he was in charge of.
Yeah, his whole company probably does a lot. Which, that is crazy, too, to even think about. I don't know. Did you like the movie overall?
Oh, absolutely. I've seen it 6 or 8 times.
That's what your cheese action figure would say. Oh, absolutely. I found it, guys. I found it.
I decided to put a Pentax L. A Penta XL.
What is that? A 5XL?
Because I couldn't think of the word for 6 when I was doing it, and so I was like,
Hex.
Okay. Yeah, I would have done 6, but I couldn't think of the word. I was flustered because I was like, wait, what's 6?
Hexel.
Yeah, and so I decided to stick with 5. I would have done 6.
Oh my goodness.
Because I love everything about this movie. It was one of those movies where it triggered that beginning of the event of my brain and my logical thinking going in the direction of, we only get one shot at this life.
Mm-hmm.
So live every day and every moment in the way that best fits what you want to do, because we could die any day.
We could die right now.
It's true.
A meteor coming through. Ah!
And this movie was one of those where I was just like, wow, that was very eye-opening for me. Like, because Guy is just working as a banker this entire time, and then all of a sudden he's like, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then same with everybody else in this movie. They're like, man, I hate this. And then they change.
Yeah, the coffee girl wanted to make cappuccinos.
Yeah, she wanted to try, and then at the end she was like, I just want to make a difference.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to think about life that way, that it's another philosophical thing about life where it isn't something that just happens to us. If we live it the way that we want to, then it won't be.
Yeah. I love it.
How about you?
Yes. Honestly, this movie and movies like Ready Player One have that similar awesome vibe. I mean, it's probably just the vibe of virtual gaming, but like Free Guy focuses more on the AI elements of the game. You know, with Ryan playing his little comedic dits and love is always the best for him and for my entertainment. I mean, this actor overall is just a treasure that not many will be able to witness in the future. Because do you ever get that, like, movie crisis where there are movies from maybe 40 years ago that we may or may not still remember that we watched when we were kids? Like, if we watch them with our kids, they're going to be something that maybe sticks with us for a while. But if we manage to miss one movie and we never even care about the whole time, but our parents are like, why didn't you watch that? Then that means it's like, if parents think it's such an awesome movie, but we have never seen it when you were young, and thus we don't care to watch it now for nostalgia, that means there's going to be movies today that we think are awesome, like Free Guy, or any movie with Ryan Reynolds in it, that future generations will just not care to watch because it's so old. Like, does that give you a crisis? Like, how are movies going to get better? You know, everything's
Wow.
already in color. CGI is a little bit better, pretty better. Are AI gonna make movies? And if they do that, like, these movies I feel like would last, but other movies didn't last, and people thought they would last.
I think that's an interesting concept because there's a lot of people who still go back and watch those classic films.
Yeah.
Like, I personally, like, this is not a dig on this because I just haven't seen it yet.
Uh-huh.
But Rocky is one of those situations where I'm just like, in my younger years, when I was a teenager, I want to watch the movies now because I haven't seen them and it's a part of history and I kind of want to watch them because they have a lot of cool, like, you get beat down, you get back up kind of vibes going on, and I'm really about that because when life hurts, sometimes you just gotta beat your way through it.
Just gotta beat the lemon and make lemonade.
Yeah, exactly. I gave her a face that was like, I don't know where you're going with this.
I almost lost him.
But
I haven't seen
that's
Rocky
one of those
either.
movies where I'm just like, the generation that is part of my parents' generation loves those movies.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, these are awesome. Boxer guy beating up on other dudes, coming back and fighting for whatever and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I'll get to them when I do.
I don't think I'll ever watch it. I don't know. I don't know if that's something I want to do. But yeah, I've never seen them. I know it has Sylvester Stallone in them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I like that actor, but I don't think I'll watch it. I just finally watched Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I am upset that I haven't watched that a long time ago. I love that movie now. That's not as old as Rocky, but like, I don't know, there's some good ones. And I bet there's a lot that I've missed, and it just gives me a movie crisis, thinking no one's going to know Ryan Reynolds. No one's going to watch The Voices.
We did.
We did, yeah. I love that movie.
Maybe that's part of the benefits of this podcast is that we just get to watch movies that we probably never would have otherwise.
Oh my gosh. We're the saviors of filmography.
Because, I never would have watched The Voices.
Yeah, I know.
Like, even if I watched a trailer for that, I would be like, wow, that's garbage. I'm not going to watch that ever.
That's true. But my rating is a bottom stuff for sure, and I would watch and repeat. I'm not going to get any... I don't have enough money for a Hexel tub of popcorn.
Yeah, it would fill up like 2 rows.
Yeah.
That's how big it would be.
Don't fill up a whole movie theater with popcorn and just swim in it.
I think that would be disgusting.
Yeah, that probably would be.
You would get all buttery. The popcorn would
Yeah.
get dirty.
Yeah. It was a nice thought before I ended the thought.
With that, we ended our Free Guy review. Join us next week as we begin the month of July. Going into this one, we're going to be watching Will Ferrell movies. Starting with one of my personal favorites. Actually, it's my favorite Will Ferrell movie in general. Stranger Than Fiction.
Which I haven't seen, so this will definitely be fun.
Yeah, I was so excited about it. I almost watched it today. And then I was like, man, we gotta record before I watch it so I don't get my movies mixed up.
Yeah.
So look forward to that. Great start. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Love you. Bye.